Welcome, travelers, to the majestic realm of ancient Greece. Close your eyes and let the power of your imagination transport you to a legendary time, to the very dawn of existence. In this odyssey through time, you will discover the splendor of an ancient world where gods walked among mortals and the primordial forces of the cosmos took shape. Each image will transport you to distant lands and allow you to glimpse the hidden secrets in the depths of primordial chaos. To understand the story, we must first become acquainted with the ancient Greek poet and storyteller, Hesiod. Hesiod was an esteemed poet believed to have lived between 750 and 650 BC. He is considered one of the earliest known Greek poets and is renowned for his works Theogony and Works and Days. In Theogony, Hesiod unravels the origins and lineage of the Greek gods, delving into the creation of the world and the divine birth. This epic poem meticulously documents the succession of divine rulers and offers a comprehensive account of the cosmos. Hesiod's profound understanding of the divine hierarchy greatly influenced later Greek mythology and religious thought. While it's worth noting that other versions of the myth exist, Hesiod's Theogony holds remarkable prominence. It gained widespread popularity and captivated a vast audience in ancient Greece. His work serves as a cornerstone for comprehending the unfolding of the cosmos and the divine realms in Greek mythology. It is through this remarkable version that we embark on our journey, guided by Hesiod's profound insights. Before the mighty Mount Olympus rose, before the 12 gods claimed their sovereignty, and even before the Titans emerged, there existed only a vast abyss, an infinite void called chaos. This primordial being, without form or boundaries, awaited in its primordial darkness, a cosmic canvas of limitless potential. Chaos was different from the other gods. While each of the Greek gods and goddesses personified an elemental force, a virtue, or a concept, from Zeus, the Lord of Thunder, to Thanatos, the personification of peaceful death. These divinities shared similarities with mortals, not only physically but also in their desires and passions. They experienced anger, love, ego, and all the emotions that arise within us. But chaos was different. It transcended humanity. It did not embody any known form, nor was it any element, or any particular virtue. It was an abstract entity representing the primordial state of the cosmos, an attempt by the Greeks to comprehend the unknown and unimaginable. Chaos, as far as we know, was a being without a known origin. It simply always existed. It was not disorder or randomness, as we often understand chaos today, but a primordial void, a lack of structure that defied human understanding. In an unspecified period of time, 3 gods emerge from the depths of chaos itself, completing, along with it, the first 4 primordial gods. These divinities are the primordial forces or concepts that forged our world as we know it. The first to emerge was Gaia, rising from the depths of primordial chaos. She was the mighty goddess who personified the earth itself and was the only one, alongside chaos, to have offspring later on. Gaia commanded as much respect as the vastness of her domains, and her presence resonated in every corner of the world that was beginning to take shape. She was the mother of all things, the primordial source of life and fertility. Her life essence flowed through every leaf, every tree, and every creature that inhabited her vast realm. Next to arise was Tartarus, amidst the abyss, the personification of a dwelling of darkness that sank beyond conception. It was the deepest and darkest region, even beyond Hades himself, the Greek underworld that would appear much later. Tartarus was as far below the earth as the sky is above it, as described by Hesiod. Its magnitude evoked terror and punishment. Its dark recesses and inaccessibility fueled the deepest fears, not only of mortals but also of the gods. And finally, the passionate Eros rose, personifying, more than just love as many think, desire in its purest and vital form. Eros is an immensely important figure, for without him, nothing would exist, as he is the primordial force that drives passion and the bond between gods, creating the elements that shape our world. Through his influence, the gods and heroes find the passion and inspiration to breathe life into new creations, into epic love stories and heroic feats. These primordial gods share similarities with chaos in that they represent abstract forces and concepts, but they differ in that they are often represented in human form, like Gaia and Eros, in that they have a beginning, unlike eternal chaos. It is also worth clarifying that Hesiod never mentions that they were born because chaos created them, but rather that they emerged from it. As these three gods rise, the world begins to take shape, and chaos retreats beneath the earth. There, it gives birth to the first family, known as the family of chaos or the family of the night, with the birth of two new gods, Nyx, the goddess of the night, and Erebus, the darkness. These two, in turn, give birth to more gods, such as Hemera, the goddess of the day, and Ether, the light, embodiments that counterbalance the darkness of their parents. The family of the night is important, as Nyx, on her own, gave birth to numerous personifications of dark forces or negative concepts. Some of them include Thanatos, the very embodiment of death, Geras, the relentless lord of old age, Apate, the goddess who personified deceit, pain, and fraud, Eris, the goddess of discord and envy, Nemesis, the personification of deserved punishment and just indignation, and the Kyrs, spirits of destruction and death. Gaia, the mother of all things, devoid of contact with anyone, creates the deities who personify the natural elements that populate our world, such as the majestic mountains that took shape in the Aurea, divine beings who ruled the heights with imposing grandeur. The vast primordial and chaotic sea found its personification in Pontus, the god of the tempestuous sea. And the starry sky that covered the earth like a mantle would be personified by Uranus, the god who, from that moment, would rise as the ruler of the universe. Uranus took Gaia as his wife, and their union gave rise to the Cyclopes, beings with a single eye, and the Hecatonchires, grotesque creatures with 100 hands, and according to some accounts, 100 heads. From the union of heaven and earth, another one of the most important families was formed, with which we will continue the history of this cosmogony: the Titans. Unlike the majority of gods, they did not have very specific roles, and most of them, rather than being representations, or personifications of forces and concepts, they are associated and have power over them. Although they were not practically worshipped, they do play an important role as they are the parents of most of the major gods. Some of the most important ones are Cronus, the father of Zeus, associated with harvests and calendars; Oceanus, the personification of the great river that surrounded the world; Hyperion, associated with celestial light and watchfulness, was also the father of Helios, the god of the sun; Themis, the personification of justice and divine order. Rhea, the sister and wife of Cronus, and the goddess of motherhood. There is much to talk about regarding them and their siblings. As I mentioned, from their reign, the next stage of the myth is conceived, an epic chapter that will mark the history of Greek mythology. However, there are still more things to point out before this happens. In the moment when the first gods prepare to emerge, chaos, which lay hidden beneath the depths of the earth, sets itself in motion once again. With a mysterious will, it finds its place between Uranus and Gaia, drawing an invisible border that separates them. From that moment on, chaos practically disappears from Greek myths, except for some minor mentions. It does not participate in any other event, for its role as the primordial being of reality itself had been fulfilled. To understand the existence of these primordial deities, we must delve into the beliefs of ancient Greece. Although there were numerous schools of thought throughout the centuries, and the myths themselves, like this one, have different versions and evolved over time, we can still glimpse what lies behind them. The Greeks believed that the world was ordered and harmonious, to some extent. Pythagoras and his followers believed in the existence of a harmony of the spheres, meaning that the planets and stars were arranged in the cosmos according to perfect mathematical proportions and relationships. But even before that, there were ideas that explored this concept, and it can be seen in Theogony. Chaos, for example, which could be interpreted as the lack of structure in the universe before everything begins to move and occupy other spaces as the world takes shape and assumes that missing structure. Another example is Gaia and Uranus. According to the myth, Uranus covers Gaia, and both are equally extensive, reflecting a certain harmony between them. Another example lies in the families, that of chaos, which begins with Nyx, the night, and gives birth to the day, giving rise to a natural cycle of day and night, a balance. Just as Nyx had the family that personified dark or negative forces, Gaia had the family that personified the good, the forests, the mountains, the seas, and nature in general. We can clearly see elements in mythology that represent this idea of harmony and order in the universe. Of course, not everything adheres to this principle, as many gods interacted in more complex ways, and these interactions reflected different aspects of the Greek vision of life and the universe. However, we can still perceive a certain balance in the mythological world that harmonizes and sustains the functioning of everything. We also know that the Greeks believed the earth was flat and had a geocentric view, meaning that the earth was the center of the universe and everything revolved around it. In those ancient times, the early inhabitants of Greece constructed their worldview through direct observation. They perceived a central earth, Gaia, surrounded by the Titan Oceanus, which flowed endlessly. Above the earth stood a firmament in the shape of a dome, Uranus. In this way, we understand why they believed both were equally extensive, since their view offered a starry sky that merged with the earth on the horizon. However, this thought of the sky as a dome changed over the centuries, and some suggest that they eventually conceived of the sky as a plane parallel to the earth, with equal extension, giving rise to the role of Atlas in mythology, who was the Titan who bore the weight of the sky. If we could reach the edges of this cosmic disk, in the east we would behold the god sun, Helios, beginning his triumphant ascent. And in the west, where the sun submerges into the golden horizon, we would discover the entrance to Hades, the abode of the dead. As we can see, it was a sun that revolved around the earth, once again corresponding to the belief that the earth was the center of the universe. We can clearly see how any mythology is the fusion of the worldview with legendary tales, And all these primordial gods and other deities are nothing more than a vivid attempt to explain the human experience. Now that we have unraveled the birth of the world and witnessed the emergence of the powerful primordial forces, it is time to delve into a new chapter of this fascinating story. In the next video, we will immerse ourselves in the passionate reign of the Titans, who would challenge the dominion of Uranus in a bold rebellion. There, we will witness the birth of the 12 Olympians, the supreme gods destined to confront their own parents in the grand and epic Titanomachy, a divine war that will divide the world of the gods into two irreconcilable factions.